How can it be that we're still 10 years into this fucking crisis of constitutional magnitude and you're still like, oh, it's just around the corner, sane Republicans are around the corner? All of those people you talked about, save for one or two, and those were squeakers, lost their fucking seats.
It's time to set up the Democratic Party for success in the midterms, not alienate fucking moderates. So effectively what happens is if they go further right in the primaries, because that's what happens, right?
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Glad you're here for this one. So this is a panel debate from WIC TV where you've got Pisco and Josiah on one side arguing that Democrats should absolutely expand the Supreme Court, and on the other side you've got Counterpoints, a self-described rhino Republican, and Tom Foolery, a liberal who actually agrees it's justified but thinks it's too dangerous. The entire debate centers around one question that nobody on the opposing side can answer, and that's the self-defense argument. If what Mitch McConnell did was worse than legislative court packing, and both sides basically admit that it was, then why exactly shouldn't Democrats respond in kind? What you're about to watch is one side systematically cornering the other into a position they cannot defend. I'm telling you right now, you're going to want to stay for the full thing because the way this unfolds is genuinely something you don't see often in these kinds of debates. Also, drop a comment letting me know where you're tuning in from today. I always love seeing how spread out this community is. Whether you're watching from the States, Europe, Asia, wherever you are, just say hi. I appreciate every single one of you. Alright, let's get right into it.
See, what you're saying is you accept my argument about self-defense, but here are these extenuating circumstances. Extenuating circumstance number one is an even number of justices, right? And so that's a problem because we don't want 5-5 split rulings, okay? I can easily address that, just add 2. And 2 is the actual harm done, because it's not just we took away 1, it was we took away 1 and added a Republican, which would have been a Democrat. So the mathematical answer is 2, right? So that gets you away from extenuating circumstance number 1. You should be therefore, unless there's another extenuating circumstances, in favor of a 2-person court pack. And then the second thing you said is it's going to lead to a race to the bottom. And I want to address that, but just be aware right now, before I address that, you are saying that I think you're saying if Republicans do it first, if they were to do a legislative court pack, we shouldn't respond in kind. I think that's entailed by what you said so far.
Yeah, I think that at the point that they do that, they're like, my point is that at the point that this happens, there isn't much saving left.
We're already there, Wick. I thought you just granted that what Mitch McConnell did was worse. And so we're already there. Oh, sorry, Tom. We're already there, Tom.
So catching strays over here, Vince.
So here's the problem.
Hey, gang, listen.
The problem is there are people like me and Josiah who see that we're already there, and there are people who are ignoring it, right? So we're already there. And the reason you know we're already there is because you granted the self-defense argument, and you can't come up with a reason why legislative court packing is worse than non-legislative court packing that Mitch McConnell did. And so on that view, we're already there.
Okay,
I don't believe that we're already there.
But why? Then you would need to distinguish what Mitch McConnell did.
You may in a second. If we are already there, there isn't anything to save. Like, that's my point, is that there isn't even a reason to do this. Like, it is just time to start prepping for some sort of revolution and to just kind of
how does that follow?
Rewrite everything. What do you mean, how does that follow?
Well, you guys literally brought up court packing before and after the Civil War, so I mean...
No, that was
I don't think Tom's perspective is totally out of whack, even with your own statements.
Tom, did you feel that way about gerrymandering?
No, not in the same way, but to an extent.
Like, why would it be the case for court packing?
The norms being...
Yeah, can you articulate a meaningful difference here? Because, like, to me, I understand that they are two different things, but I think that they're analogous enough that it seems facially or superficially, at least, kind of strange to me that you would tolerate one but not the other, because we're hearing the phrase arms race and race to the bottom used right now when talking about the gerrymandering situation. But
you're fine with it.
Yeah, surely you prefer Democrats trying to retaliatorily gerrymander as opposed to just rolling over, right?
Can I ask you, Josiah, do you support a national ban on gerrymandering?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so you recognize the harms that gerrymandering is doing to the system, correct?
Yeah, I think gerrymandering is...
And it would be better to just not do it and ban it outright, correct?
But we're agreed on that.
Okay.
Right, we're agreed on that, but also
I think that what Tom is arguing, and he can argue for himself, and I see your hand, Connor, we're going to give it to you, is that rather than engage in this like tit for tat race for the bottom thing, which is going to, in some people's opinion, lead to disaster. And as Tom says in his argument, it's not my argument, Tom's argument is like, you might as well just start strapping up at that point. Because
wait a minute, but there are two differences.
This is where the whole argument gets locked down, because Pisco does something brilliant here. The other side keeps saying, oh, we can't pack the court because it'll create an even number and we'll get split decisions. And Pisco just goes, okay, add 2, done, problem solved. Because it's not just that one seat was taken. A seat that should have gone to the other side was blocked and replaced. That's a net swing of 2. The math is literally right there. And what kills me is how clean that logic is. You don't even need to be a legal scholar to understand it. They stole one and added one of their own. 2 fixes that. But here's where it gets really good. Because then Pisco hits them with what I think is the strongest line in this entire section. He says we're already there. And you have to understand why that matters. The whole argument from the other side is, oh, if we do this, it's going to start a race to the bottom. But Pisco is pointing out that the race already started. They started it. And when Tom says he doesn't believe we're already there, Pisco hits him with the cleanest response possible. He says, okay, then distinguish what Mitch McConnell did. And Tom cannot. He literally cannot come up with a single reason why what McConnell did is better or worse than legislative court expansion. That silence tells you everything. Because the truth is there is no distinction. One guy unilaterally blocked a nomination for a year with no vote, no process, no democratic accountability. And somehow that's acceptable, but going through both chambers of Congress and getting presidential sign-off is the dangerous option? Make it make sense. You have to understand what's happening in this debate. The people arguing against court expansion keep running into the same wall. They can feel that something is wrong with their position, but they cannot articulate what it is. And the reason they can't articulate it is because their position isn't principled. It's strategic. They want to keep what they got.
There are two differences here. Number one, I'm opposed to gerrymandering on principle because I think it's undemocratic. I'm not committed to the idea that court packing is inherently wrong because I don't think that expanding or shrinking the size of a court is necessarily good or bad. I think gerrymandering is bad on principle because the politicians
what about partisan
picking the
court
voters.
packing?
Wait a minute. Hang on one second. Then the second thing, Wick, do you know what a nationwide gerrymandering ban would do? It would undo the gerrymanders. I'm not going to get the fucking seats that McConnell took from me back. Now, if what you are proposing
is a neutral approach,
we would. Court backing ban, which takes away, so basically Democrats get to line up and McConnell says, fuck it. We either expand it by the 2 we stole or you get to take away the 2 seats we stole from you. And then it's truces and it's all, then I'm open
down with
to that.
Yeah.
But what I'm not down for, and that's what I'd like you to address, is, okay, they hit us and we don't hit them back, but there's no recompense for what they did. That doesn't work.
That's
for
the
me.
worst of all
Nationwide
worlds.
Gerrymandering ban would undo what Texas did, for example.
Unfortunately, a nationwide gerrymandering ban would not undo the votes that happened under gerrymandered districts already, unless that is your proposal, that any election that happened during this gerrymandered time be undone.
And likewise, a neutral solution to court packing wouldn't get rid of those.
I want Josiah to answer that
I'm addressing what you just said. So what you just said is it doesn't undo the actual elections. And in a similar way, nothing about what Josiah just proposed undoes the court decisions made by the other court. So it's on all fours.
It wouldn't magically restore Dobbs or undo the presidential immunity decision. Those rulings would still be in effect. It's just that you would take either again.
That's a huge compromise from us, by the way. That is a huge compromise. How reasonable we are. We're willing to do a neutral solution if Republicans sign on to it. But if they don't, the worst of all possible worlds is they get to continue with their victory from the norm violation.
And Wick, you should also ask,
instead of getting dragged in, which it's my fault. I jumped in.
No, and you should talk about this at least when the panel opens up. I think you should put a pin in that. But Wick, I would also invite you the next time you talk to a conservative, to Jebtan or Lactoid or Ryan, you should ask them that too. If you're worried about the race to the bottom, surely then you would support a neutral solution that takes away the 2 ill-gotten gains that you all got under McConnell. And they won't go for it because they want a conservative court. They want the right to do whatever they want, but we not be able to retaliate. And I say, fuck that. That doesn't work.
I want to give it to Counterpoints, and I want to give it to Tom Foolery. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Zero fucks right there in your chat. He just gave the game away. Because I know he says
stop getting. Hold on.
He says status quo. He says status quo is the neutral position. Case in point, right there.
Yep.
The only acceptable outcome.
No one here can respond to the self-defense argument.
Is a conservative court.
No one here has responded to the self-defense argument, even 1%.
Give it to Counterpoint.
No, I was laughing. Everybody's bitching about the balance because they're saying Tom's low and Pisco's super high. So I put Pisco down to like 20%, and I just see Pisco go like, I don't know if it was at like 20%. All right, my bad. You're back to 100. So anyways, okay.
And here's what people don't realize about the gerrymandering comparison. Josiah makes a point here that I think a lot of people miss. When you ban gerrymandering nationally, you actually undo the damage. The maps get redrawn, the rigged districts disappear. But with the court situation, there is no equivalent reset button. You cannot get those stolen seats back through a ban. The decisions that court made already happened. They already changed people's lives. So when someone says, oh, let's just move forward and be neutral about it, what they're actually saying is let the other side keep everything they gained from breaking the rules, and we'll just pretend it never happened. And Pisco is absolutely right when he says that's a huge compromise from their side. Think about what they're offering. They're saying, look, we'll accept a neutral solution where neither side gets an advantage, even though we're the ones who got wronged. We won't even ask you to undo the court decisions that came from the stolen seats. We'll eat that loss. Just give us parity going forward. And the other side won't even agree to that. Which tells you everything about what this is really about. It's not about principles. It's not about protecting institutions. It's about maintaining an advantage they got through a norm violation and calling it the status quo. And that's exactly what gets exposed when someone in the chat literally says the status quo is the neutral position. Josiah catches it immediately. He says that right there is the game being given away. Because calling the status quo neutral when the status quo was created by one side cheating is not neutrality. That's just laundering your advantage through time. It's like if someone cuts in line and then says, hey, no cutting from this point forward. You know what that is? That's someone who already got what they wanted pretending to care about fairness. And here's the historical context that matters. Throughout American history, the size of the court has changed multiple times. It's been as small as 5 and as large as 10. The idea that 9 is some sacred untouchable number is actually very recent. Congress has always had the power to adjust the court's size. So the idea that exercising a constitutional power that has been used before is somehow the end of democracy is just not supported by actual history.
So, what I'm looking for, maybe this is my bias, but there are signs that MAGA's grip on the Republican Party is fracturing, and maybe we could get back to a relatively sane fucking republic. Case in point, J.D. Vance and Donald Trump tried to bully the shit out of the state of Indiana in order to gerrymander, something they were already going to do, but then they fucking pissed off the local Hoosiers.
The worst fucking example.
Correct me after I'm done,
Yeah,
dickhead.
let Counterpoint finish his point. Go ahead, Counterpoint.
So they fucking piss off the local representatives so fucking bad that they tell the federal government in order to fuck off. So there are Republicans who are ready to fucking reconcile.
Do you know what happened to those reps? Do you know what happened to those reps? How can you fucking say that? Are you? Did you not watch the elections?
You are crazy pants.
It is crazy you're saying stuff. You have no knowledge whatsoever, and you're saying Trump doesn't have the position he does over these Indiana Republicans who stand.
Literally going to predict your rebuttal.
They all lost, all but one or two lost their seats in nominations.
Go ahead, Pisco. Explain what I already know. Go ahead.
We are 10 years into MAGA, and we're still underestimating them. How can it be that we're still 10 years into this fucking crisis of constitutional magnitude, and you're still like, oh, it's just around the corner. Sane Republicans are around the corner. All of those people you talked about, save for 1 or 2, and those were squeakers, lost their fucking seats.
It's time to set up the Democratic Party for success in the midterms, not alienate fucking moderates. So effectively what happens is if they go further right in the primaries, because that's what happens, right? Primaries, you always run towards your partisan direction. So the Republicans voted for more extreme Republicans, but you know what's going to happen is they're going to alienate the moderates. And as a result, those seats are going to become vulnerable. You should be borderline thanking those fucking people, but instead you're fucking shitting your goddamn pants. So why don't you fucking get your shit together and stop saying, oh yeah, we're going to come into the fucking, we're going to get back into power and we're going to fucking everybody. Because what you're already doing is you're setting up the next cycle of MAGA to come back. So no offense, but like,
yeah. So this is the argument.
You're like the perfect example of this too, because you're over here fucking playing twinkle toes, holding hands.
Don't hit us back
on the beach with total sociopathic fucking leftist.
I'm not going to address it. I'm not going to address it. Irrelevant.
I'm not going to take your bait there. Oh yeah, Pisco. I'm not going to take your bait. You're perfectly sane and moderate. Go ahead and pack the courts. Me up my ass.
So this is what Connor is saying. Keep letting us hit you and don't hit us back. Otherwise, we'll get more mean.
I'm not on the team, this is what
Connor is saying to you.
When they hit you with fucking brass knuckles, but they're taking the brass knuckles back, don't put brass knuckles on.
So this is what Connor
because you're just going to reopen the fucking people hitting each other in the face with brass knuckles. So that's what's going to happen.
This is what Connor is telling Democrats. They're saying, let yourself continue to be hit. Let yourself continue to be hit and don't hit back, otherwise they'll get meaner. Can you imagine a more cucked position? There is no response to the self-defense argument that we've rendered. None.
Let me break down why this matters. Because Connor tries to make the argument that things are getting better. He says the grip on the party is fracturing. He brings up Indiana as his example. And Pisco just demolishes it. Because yes, some local representatives pushed back. And you know what happened to almost all of them? They lost their seats. That's not fracturing. That's consolidation. When the people who stand up get immediately removed, that's not a sign that things are improving. That's a sign that the system is punishing dissent. And we are 10 years into this. 10 years of people saying, oh, it's going to moderate, oh, the fever is going to break, oh, reasonable people are going to take the party back, and every single time, the opposite happens. At some point, you have to stop waiting for a rescue that is never coming and start playing the game with the cards you actually have. And then Connor starts saying, oh, but if you do this, you're going to alienate moderates and set up the next cycle. And Josiah reframes the entire position in a way that I think is honestly perfect. He says, what you're telling us is keep letting them hit you and don't hit back, otherwise they'll get meaner. And you have to sit with that for a second. Because that is the position. That is literally what's being argued. Accept the damage, don't retaliate, don't use the tools available to you. Just hope that eventually they'll stop. And when has that ever worked? When in history has just absorbing punishment without response led to the other side deciding to play fair? It doesn't. It just teaches them there are no consequences. And that's why this debate was so one-sided. Because at the end of the day, nobody could answer the self-defense argument. Not even 1%. Every attempt to distinguish what happened from what's being proposed completely fell apart under scrutiny. The position against court expansion in this debate wasn't built on principle. It was built on fear. And fear is not a strategy. So what do you guys think of this? Leave your thoughts down in the comments, please like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.